Welcome to Ku English Channel.
Marie Curie. Marie Curie, A Life of Discovery and Courage. Chapter 1, A Curious Mind in Poland. Marie Curie was born on November 7, 1867, in Warsaw, Poland. Her birth name was Maria Sklodowska. She was the youngest of 5 children in a family that valued education. Her father was a teacher of mathematics and physics, and her mother was the headmistress of a school for girls. From a very young age, Marie showed a great love for learning. She was curious about the world and wanted to know how things worked. At the time, Poland was under Russian rule, and life was hard for many people. The Russian government limited education for Polish children, especially girls. But Marie's parents believed in education and encouraged her to study. Marie read many books at home and learned quickly. She was especially good at math and science. When Marie was 10 years old, her mother died of tuberculosis. This was a very sad time for her family. Even though Marie was heartbroken, she continued to study hard. Her father did his best to support the family, but they had little money. Despite the challenges, Marie never gave up on her dream of learning more about the world. Chapter 2, The Flying University. Marie finished high school with excellent grades. She wanted to go to university, but at that time, women were not allowed to attend university in Poland. However, Marie learned about a secret school called the Flying University. This was an underground school that gave higher education to women in secret. Marie joined the Flying University and studied science, philosophy, and history. The classes were held in different homes to avoid the Russian police. It was dangerous, but Marie was determined to learn. She also worked as a tutor to help support her family. Marie and her older sister Bronia made a plan. Bronia would go to Paris to study medicine, and Marie would stay in Poland and work to pay for her sister's education. Later, Bronia would help Marie do the same. For several years, Marie worked as a governess. She lived in the countryside and taught children. During her free time, she continued to study science by herself. Finally, in 1891, Marie's dream came true. She moved to Paris and enrolled at the University of Paris, also known as the Sorbonne. She changed her name to Marie and began a new chapter of her life. Chapter 3, A New Life in Paris. Life in Paris was not easy for Marie. She lived in a small, cold apartment and often didn't have enough to eat. She wore old clothes and studied by candlelight. But Marie didn't complain. She was happy to finally study what she loved, math and physics. She studied at the Sorbonne with great focus and discipline. The classes were difficult, and most of her classmates were men. But Marie worked hard and quickly became one of the top students in her class. She earned degrees in both physics and mathematics. In 1894, Marie met a French scientist named Pierre Curie. Pierre was kind, intelligent, and shared Marie's love of science. They became close and enjoyed talking about their research. In 1895, they got married and became a team in both life and science. Marie and Pierre began working together on scientific experiments. They decided to study a strange new discovery called radioactivity, a word that Marie later created. This decision would change their lives, and the world, forever. Chapter 4, Triumph and Tragedy. The discoveries of polonium and radium brought the Curies great attention in the scientific community. However, their work was still not fully recognized by the broader public, and they continued to live modestly. They did not patent their method of extracting radium because they believed scientific knowledge should be shared freely for the benefit of humanity. This decision meant they earned no money from one of the most valuable substances of the time. In 1903, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics to Marie and Pierre Curie, along with Henri Becquerel. At first, only Pierre and Becquerel were going to be honored, but Pierre insisted that Marie's contribution be recognized as equal. This made Marie the first woman to ever win a Nobel Prize. She was now internationally known, but she remained humble, focused more on her research than fame. That same year, Marie gave birth to her second daughter, Eve. Despite the demands of motherhood, she continued to work in the laboratory. She and Pierre were happy, but their health was beginning to suffer. They were unknowingly being poisoned by the radiation they worked with daily. In April 1906, tragedy struck. Pierre was walking across the street when he was hit by a horse-drawn carriage. He died instantly. Marie was devastated. Her grief was deep and long-lasting, but she found comfort in continuing their shared work. Shortly after his death, she was offered Pierre's teaching position at the Sorbonne. She accepted, becoming the first woman to teach at the university. Marie threw herself into her work. In 1911, she won her second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, for discovering polonium and radium, and for her work on isolating radium. She became the first person ever to win Nobel Prizes in two different sciences. Yet again, she made history. However, that year was also filled with pain. The French press attacked her personal life, accusing her of having an affair with a fellow scientist. Although the rumors were exaggerated, the scandal affected her deeply. Still, she did not let public opinion stop her. She continued her work, confident in her mission. Chapter 5, Science at War. When World War I broke out in 1914, Marie saw an urgent need to use her scientific knowledge to help. She knew that X-rays could save the lives of wounded soldiers by allowing doctors to locate bullets and broken bones quickly. But many hospitals in France did not have X-ray equipment. Marie sprang into action. She developed mobile X-ray units that could be driven to the front lines. These vehicles, known as Little Curies, carried X-ray machines powered by small generators. With the help of her daughter Irene, who was now a teenager, Marie trained medical staff and even operated the machines herself. Over the course of the war, it's estimated that more than 1 million soldiers were treated with the help of Marie's X-ray units. Her efforts saved countless lives. She also helped establish radiological centers across France and continued to train nurses and doctors in their use. Despite her service, Marie was not recognized by the French government at the time. But she did not work for praise. She believed that science should serve humanity, and she proved that even during war, science could be a force for good. After the war, Marie returned to her scientific work, but she faced new challenges. Many of the facilities she had used before the war had been damaged. Radium was now in high demand, and its price had skyrocketed. She needed funding to continue her research and build a new institute. Chapter 6, The Radium Institute and a Global Mission. In the years after World War I, Marie focused on establishing a new research center. With the support of friends and former students, she founded the Radium Institute in Paris in 1919. The institute became a leading center for research in radioactivity, medicine, and chemistry. Marie trained a new generation of scientists, many of them women. She believed strongly in giving opportunities to others, just as she had once been given a chance. Her daughter Irene followed in her footsteps and became a respected scientist in her own right. To support her institute and fund further research, Marie traveled the world. In 1921, she visited the United States, where she received a hero's welcome. American women, led by journalist Marie Maloney, had raised money to buy a gram of radium for her work. President Warren Harding presented the radium to her at the White House. Marie also traveled to other countries, spreading the message of science and international cooperation. She gave lectures in Belgium, Brazil, Spain, and even visited her homeland, Poland, to support the creation of a sister Radium Institute in Warsaw. Despite the fame and respect she now held, Marie remained modest and serious. She continued to work tirelessly in the laboratory, always focused on discovery and helping others. Chapter 7, A Legacy Through Her Children. Marie Curie's dedication to science deeply influenced her family. Her daughter Irene became a brilliant scientist and worked closely with her mother at the Radium Institute. In 1935, 4 years after Marie's death, Irene and her husband Frederick Joliot Curie were awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for their discovery of artificial radioactivity. Marie had always encouraged her daughters to be strong, curious, and independent. While Eve did not follow a scientific path, she became a successful writer and pianist. She later wrote a best-selling biography of her mother, helping to share Marie's story with the world. Marie's approach to life was simple: work hard, stay honest, and use knowledge to help others. She taught these values to her daughters, and through them, her influence lived on. Irene's scientific contributions, in particular, carried forward the Curie family legacy of discovery. Marie was also a role model for women everywhere. She showed that women could achieve greatness in science, even in a time when few opportunities existed for them. Her courage inspired future generations of female scientists who followed in her footsteps. Chapter 8: Honors, Challenges, and Final Years. As Marie grew older, her health began to suffer. Years of exposure to radioactive substances had taken a toll. She experienced fatigue, eye problems, and other mysterious illnesses. At the time, the dangers of radiation were still not well understood. Despite her declining health, she never stopped working. She continued to lead the Radium Institute, mentor young scientists, and travel to promote scientific cooperation. She received many honors from around the world, including honorary degrees and medals. In 1922, she was appointed to the French Academy of Medicine, another first for a woman. Marie's final years were quiet but filled with purpose. She remained active in research and often spoke about the importance of science for peace and progress. She believed that science should unite people and bring hope to the world. In 1934, at the age of 66, Marie Curie died of aplastic anemia, a disease linked to radiation exposure. Her passing marked the end of a remarkable life, but her legacy had only just begun. Chapter 9: A Lasting Impact on Science and Society. Marie Curie's work changed the course of science. Her discoveries laid the foundation for nuclear physics, modern chemistry, and medical treatments such as radiation therapy. Hospitals around the world now use radiation to treat cancer, a technique born from her groundbreaking research. She also helped create a scientific culture that valued perseverance, honesty, and collaboration. Her refusal to patent her discoveries set an example of generosity and integrity. She believed that knowledge should be shared, not sold. Marie was also a pioneer for women in science. She proved that gender should never be a barrier to achievement. Her success inspired many women to enter fields like physics, chemistry, and medicine, fields where they had once been excluded. The Radium Institute she founded continued to thrive long after her death, becoming a world leader in cancer research. Her students carried on her mission, and her family remained active in science and public service for decades. Chapter 10: Remembering Marie Curie. Today, Marie Curie is remembered as one of the greatest scientists in history. Her name is found in textbooks, museums, and scientific institutions across the world. The element curium, discovered after her death, was named in honor of her and Pierre. She is also remembered for her character, her humility, her strength, and her unshakable dedication to science and humanity. In 1995, her remains were moved to the Pantheon in Paris, a place reserved for France's greatest heroes. She was the first woman to be honored there for her own achievements. Marie's story continues to inspire. Her life shows that with determination, courage, and love of learning, it is possible to overcome great obstacles and change the world. For learners of English and science alike, her biography is more than a story, it is a lesson in hope, resilience, and the power of knowledge.